सलाम मेरे अजीज पंखों।
Theon's began feeling something mild yet tingle brushing against the hollow of his neck. They tried to shove away the source of disturbance, but interrupted something catches his arms behind him. His heart and eyes opened as they felt a string at the same spot of his neck, but as soon as they comprehended the situation, his cheeks splashed red. It was his husband's new way to wake him up. Jungkook. They breathed. When Jungkook flinched with his warm tongue across his full skin of his neck, followed to sloppy kisses. He rumbled against the skin but didn't stop. His puff made the shudder under his top with earnestness. As soon as he released the hand, they found their way to his messy hair, tugging on them even so lightly. Their breath quivered when he bending on the side of his jaw, peeping the region with his mind-blowing touch. His trouble scratching the sensitive skin. Good morning, wifey. Jungkook heard his voice across the room. He nestled his nose against the thin neckline before placing a soft kiss there. His lips stretched into a lazy smile when they hand across his thick curls. He scammed back to glare at his sleeping beauty, and his lips curled with more. They were so adorable, his adorable beauty. He watched as they opened his hazel eyes, probably missing the founding, the bed, and make him fall harder for her. Even more was possible. His eyes wandered him as he stopped to peek tempting petals. Sleep well. He whispered, smoothing the hair and the back. Theon gaped as the wonderful man before his eyes and guessed for a 10th time. It was the person who was so perfect. Get up, sleepyhead. You have a morning classes today. He was reminded as he kissed their forehead and stood from the bed, letting her eyes trail down his broad shoulders and muscular chest covered by a black top. They was Tim smiled, and they were supposed to do last night. His eyes explained it as they glared at the floor. My Simons, they said, stumble off the bed and Jungkook. Finally, they regained his senses. Jungkook, I told you to wake me. If I fell asleep, I had an assignment to complete. God, why did I fall asleep? They rushed to the laptop positioning on the table. Jungkook chuckled as his tiny frame plopped on the leather sofa as they began to turn on his laptop. His silky hair falling down his forehead, and some tan were covering his eyes. They pouted, running his finger through the keyboard as he felt the urge turn the sweet pout in his mouth, and this boy turning him into a shore. Submitted. They mumbled in surprise and zoomed on the screen. When he didn't submit the assignment, they bugged up to find Jungkook staring at him, his lips pressed together. Jungkook, why does it show submitted? They muttered, glaring between the laptop and his husband before his eyes, in realization and surprise. 1 minute. Did you do it? They said, pointed toward the screen, and saw him smirk. I could not bring myself to wake up the sleepy beauty. They flinched a few times as Oh my. Thank you so much, Jungkook. You're amazing. They grinned, causing his heart to do a flip. It was probably the first time he was seeing this so excited, so carefree. He clubbed a bit and they on his lower lip and shut down the laptop. His eyes still on the excitement. They stood up with a broad smile across his wrinkles and cleared their way. Thank you. Three grinned, making his heart warm up. Before he could comprehend, he found his little arms encircled and around his torso. Just as the soft finger struggled into his broad chest, he felt a surge of peace caught to his nerve. He was ready to all that the assignment for this. He shut down his eyes and they saw frame into his chest. Jungkook, he explained as he lifted off Tae for the floor, unexpectedly cuddled to Tae's face into his shoulder, and his delicate physique brushing against his hard muscles. Tae around, wrapping his neck for a spot when he squeezed his body with affection. They giggle as he popped Tae onto the floor with a grin across his face. Tae looked at him with surprise. What happened to him? He seems in a good mood. So was Tae? I want my repayment. He heard and started. He pulled Tae closer by his weight. Repayment? The muttered, seeing his blue shining with his cheeks glow as they noted their position. Their body was hugged, his hand on the waist while his hands rested on the chest. Repayment for doing your assignment. He started including his eyes. Didn't they just hug him for that? What else he needed? In 2 months, they had completed to acknowledge that the fact his husband was very nasty on at that. Here, I want my repayment here. His ear, and as his face decided to the pointed toward the cheeks, demanding a kiss. Later I have to go, wifey. I said I want my repayment. He repeated, bringing the closer to his face. And how did they think to? They stood up. His toes and skimmed his lips against the skin, making him appear. Here too, he said, his face to other side, and they blushed, his heart thumping as they took his to side profile. Shuddering on his toes once again, he pressed his lips to his cheeks. Jungkook hummed, feeling the soft petals brush his cheeks, the small hand claps on his chest. His touch was so addicted. Here now, he applied, and covered his chin as soon as they moved away. No, they muttered loudly as his flushed face, his body shivered, was unnoticeable when he bent the level, pointing again to the location. It's my repayment, wifey, Jungkook said, peering straight into his orbs. I'm waiting. They leaned, and the space between them, a smile on his features, wifey was getting better. His eyes shut down as the cold lips connected with the chin. His smoky roses was enough to smack his senses. He clasped as they whisked, and he moved away. Here too, he demanded to bring his forehead in front of him, and they clubbed. They could feel the warm breath hit the hollow of his neck. His hand clenched to the material of the cloth. As he felt the hole tighten, he was sizing for adjustment. Too, slowly they brushed his thick stance of hair away from his forehead and placed the rosy lips there. They heard with a satisfaction. They moved back to see his shut eyes, and Blaze smiled on his face. His heart hummed against the chest, his eyes roaming around the outlines. Here, his words died down as he felt a delicate fingertip brush against the skin. They stalked his finger along the brows. In the place, his lips on his eyes. Jungkook's lips turned into a smile as he bent to the other eyes. Theon feels so fortunate to bask in the misaligned sun to make his heart beat plump into a sweat. Affection. They peeped through his nose lightly as feeling irregular thumping of his heart under his heart. It was making the man to do the things they could not never. They stopped away as he opened his eyes. We saw him and his eye with the dark orbs and shuddered. His eyes started to the plump lips as he dumped into his with his tongue. It's skipping the main part, my life. He muttered as he breathed hacked. They swallowed himself for as he leaned closer. His gentle breath carrying the lips. Gone. He breathed trembled as he wrapped one hand around his neck and, peeking slightly, his nose touching his in a kiss. Complete my repayment, wifey. He muttered against his lips to guards, brushing the fluffy ones with each utterance, craving his inside the knot. He approximately was satisfied to make him mind go crazy. Jungkook restrained himself from pointing on him, as he wanted to. The stud but wished to see the so far they could go. He teases us with soft anger, and felt he quivered with each touch. Tongue almost winced as Jungkook pulled away. They were so dissatisfied. They explained to lips against him badly. So before his mind could interrupt, his hand was pulling away down around his neck. Jungkook groaned as they down as clashed his lips together. Through his nerve, his delicate lips senses for a while, moved, sucking on his lower lip with compassion. He almost ran as they fed, only his tiny hand wrapped down his neck. Jungkook let him explore his holding all the retain he had, but as soon as they knit on the bottom lips, he broke loose, holding his head to his hand. He yanked him further into him, overpowered his taste of sweetness, a touch for he who was enough to unleash his desires.